Hi guys! Today I'm so excited to be doing my February new releases for Cozy Mysteries. These are 25 new releases coming out in February that I'm personally really excited for and wanted to share with all of you. Stay tuned, I do have some animations sprinkled about that I did for some of the synopses for some of these. I'm really excited, and yeah, let's just go and hop in. So our first one is one that actually made my most anticipated releases list for the year, which I'll link above if you didn't see that, and that is A Victim at Valentine's by Ellie Alexander. This is a secret bookcase mystery. It's book 5 in the series and it's coming out on February 10th. And I am caught up on this series and adore it. I actually have an arc for this and I'm planning on reading this for some kind of Valentine's vlog. So hit subscribe, stay tuned. That'll be coming up in like early February. But I'm really excited for this one. So it takes place in Redwood Grove, which is like Northern California. And our main character is Annie Murray, and she works at this Agatha Christie inspired bookshop. And in this one, she's assisting the lead detective in unraveling a mystery when a beloved pillar of the local community is found dead at their bookshop. She quickly identifies a host of likely suspects, from an oddball psychic to a professional matchmaker to a rival bookseller, each with a worryingly plausible motive. With her keen eye for detail, soon Annie suspects there may be connections to the decade-old tragedy of her best friend's death, which still haunts her. Putting her own Valentine's Day plans with the irresistible Liam on hold, Annie must solve the crime before she ends up on a hot date with a killer. This is such a fun murder mystery series. I love the setting. I love Annie. I love her. The secondary characters and stuff in here are amazing. I do really recommend reading this series in order because there is a kind of overarching plot line that was kind of touched on in this description, so I would read these in order, but otherwise I strongly recommend the series. It's so good. Next we have another Valentine's Day cozy. There's quite a few in this video. This is called Murder with a Hint of Dark Chocolate, a Whisper Hollow mystery, book 3 in the series by Laura M. Drake, and this is coming out on February 1st. So as you can see on the cover, there's this adorable bookshop called Whispering Pages, and Harper, our main character, sells murder mysteries there, and she's known around the town as a sleuth who not only sells murder mysteries but solves them. And in this one, there's some kind of death at a nursing home, I'm assuming under mysterious circumstances, and Harper gets involved, but she's got to kind of put her plans for Valentine's Day on the back burner. Her boyfriend's made this really fun scavenger hunt for her, but she's got to focus in on town rumors. There's an anonymous note found at the bakery. There's a Valentine's Day festival going on, and Harper's got to sort through all of these clues to figure out what's going on. And I thought this one looked really fun. I haven't read this series, but it looks so cute and I love the theme for this. For those of you that enjoy short stories, I wanted to share this collection that's coming out. It's called Secrets Between the Shelves, and it's 4 cozy bookshop mysteries featuring a short story from Cynthia Hickey, Linda Baton Johnson, Teresa Ives Lilly, and Marilyn Turk. And it's coming out on the 1st of February. So each of these have a very unique bookish theme. One has like a pirate kind of themed mystery with the books. One has like a tea room / bookshop. One has like this art store that's like next to a bookshop and other like establishments that get involved in a mystery. And then there's one where there's a bookshop located next to this historic building that actually has a secret passage. So this one just sounded really fun, and if you're looking to try out a couple of authors all at once, I thought this would be a great way to do so. This next one I'm so excited about. So I really like the Tucson Valley Retirement mystery series by Marcy Blessy. I still need to continue it, but I really enjoyed book 1 in that series, and this one is her newest series coming out in February, which I do have an arc for. I'm hoping to read very soon. It's called Murder Movie Club, Murder on a Monday. This is a monthly murder movie club cozy mystery. It's book 1 in the series by Marcy Blessy, and it's coming out on the 21st. For starters, let's just take a moment to appreciate the cat with the bow tie. So cute. It's so cute. So with this one, we have kind of a movie-going club, and it's murder best served with popcorn. That's the mantra for the members of the Movie Murder Club at the Northwoods Movie Theater. Every Monday, this eclectic group of Northern Michigan residents gather to watch a murder mystery movie on the big screen. After stopping the projector in the middle of the movie, the members gather to discuss the crime and suspects, each making a whodunit pick before resuming the movie. But nothing is normal on this Monday morning when the club members find the ticket-taking popcorn maker, John E. Cash, in the lobby of the theater, deader than any actor in their beloved movies. Using their unique talents and eccentricities, the Movie Murder Club members work collectively to solve the crime before the Northwoods police force does. Members strive to protect the reputation of their beloved theater and to protect their Monday meetings because each member is discovering that there is so much more to their Monday club than a good old-fashioned murder mystery. I love this. I love the idea of this eccentric group of characters coming together and watching murder mysteries and like pausing it in the middle just so they can like, you know, discuss and like make their theories. I love everything about this. I'm so excited to read this. Our next one is another one by Ellie Alexander. This one's called Killing Me Soufflé, a bake shop mystery. It's book 20 in the series and this is coming out on February 25th. And I just love the Bake Shop Mystery series. I feel like Ellie Alexander does setting especially well and like side character development. I just feel like you're really returning like home every time you pick up one of her books. And I'm almost caught up with the series. This is one I would really like to read this year. Basically two of Jules, the main character who runs this bake shop with her mother, Tort. Two of her employees are striking out on their own. She's very happy for them. And they are doing like their big opening night with food. One of them is a baker, one of them is a chef. And they are cooking when they hear screams and they realize they come running out and Jules is there with the team to support them, of course. And they realize that their boss has taken a tumble down this like steep cliffside and fallen to their death. But they quickly realize that this wasn't an accident and Jules and her team get involved to solve this case because they don't want it to jeopardize, you know, these two's like new opportunity and stuff, and also just to get justice for the victim. So the Bake Shop Mystery series is just, it's such a cozy mystery staple. If you enjoy a foodie cozy, I would really recommend checking it out. Again, it's one I would read in order. Coming out on the 1st, we have one called Murder Gimlet, a Maple Creek cozy mystery. It's book 7 in the series by Lamar, and this takes place during a 4th of July carnival. And this one involves our main character, Callie, who actually works at her grandmother's bar, which is kind of an interesting setting for a cozy, but I really think it has some fun puns for this cover and I love the dog on it. And in this one there's a 4th of July carnival and one of her Graham's friends, Eleanor, is found dead at this like haunted house midway ride sort of situation. And the sheriff and police think that it's just an accident or like a natural death, but Kelly and her Grahams disagree and they start to look into it. And the more they look into it, the more they realize that there's some other weird things going on, like a building burned down, there's missing money at the fair, and they get involved in this case. I thought this one sounded really fun and I just love the dog on the cover. For those of you that like historical fiction, this one is coming out on February 15th. It's called Death at the Jolly Cricketer, a 1920s historical mystery. It's a Veronica Vale Investigates. It's book 7 in the series by Kildare. Our main character is Veronica Vale and she's a very spirited amateur sleuth, and this local industry like kind of leader and also cricket fan is found dead in the basement of the Jolly Cricketer, which is a local pub, and that quickly puts a dampen on everything going on, of course. And Veronica starts to uncover secrets between the polite facade of the upper class. There's different rivalries in the cricketing realm. There's old friends who might have had it out for this person, and the closer she gets to the mystery, the more intense it starts to get. And one of her friends is actually accused of the crime, which gives her even more incentive to actually solve it and clear her friend's name. So this one looks really fun. I would like to read some more historical mysteries this year, and this one is kind of on my list. Let me know if you have read it. By V.M. Burns, we have The Next Deadly Chapter, a mystery bookshop, book 10 in the series, and this is coming out on February 25th, and it takes place in Michigan with a bookshop owner and mystery writer. I really need to read this series because I've loved so many other things by this author, whether under this pen name or other pen names they have, and it's on my list. But our main character in this is Samantha. All she wants to do is make a good impression on her soon-to-be mother-in-law, Camellia, and Camellia is a doctor. She's very proper, but her it sounds like Samantha's friends and family are a little more fun and out there, and they take her to a casino for kind of a surprise like bridal bash, and she knows when to fold it. She's not big on it, so she ends up leaving a bit early, going back to her hotel room, working on her historical fiction mystery novel, because you get to read, I think, snippets of what the main character is writing, which is really fun. But she gets a desperate call from her mother-in-law to be, claiming that she found a dead body in her room, and she is terrified that, she's gonna be accused of the murder. She's also really scared that her reputation as like this, good doctor is going to be ruined, because that's obviously not ideal, not a good thing for the reputation in general to be finding bodies. So our main character gets involved in solving this to win over her mother-in-law and clear her mother-in-law to be's name. No pressure there whatsoever. So that one just sounds way too fun. This next one is by Annie McEwen. It's called Snow Time to Die, a Northwoods mystery. It's book 3 in the series, and it's coming out on February 18th. And I'm so excited for this series. I just loved Resort to Murder, the first book in the series, and this is book 3, and it's like a snowy one, which I love, I love, I love. So here is our quick rundown of the synopsis. So our main character in this is Emmy Cooper, who is a young interior designer. She's returned home to help her family run their lake cottage resort in the Wisconsin Northwoods and to kind of find herself and stuff. And a stormy mix-up at a local hotel reroutes an unwanted group of guests to Cooper's Cove Resort, including Emmy's former boss and the reason Emmy slunk home with her tail between her legs, Gwenda Caperwell. As if being face-to-face with an old grudge wasn't bad enough, a fierce blizzard picks that moment to strike, leaving Emmy snowed in with her least favorite person on Earth. But things go from bad to downright chilling when Gwenda suddenly turns up dead, colder than the January air, and Emmy snowed in with a corpse. With the roads impassable and the safety of the other guests at stake, the local law enforcement had no choice but to rely on Emmy and her parents to help solve the mystery and catch the real killer, much to the dismay of Emmy's love interest, Officer Dean Erickson. But it quickly becomes clear that plenty of the other guests had a reason to want Gwenda dead, so now Emmy has to navigate through all of these different secrets and lies and motives to figure out who wanted her old boss dead. Besides herself, of course. This one just sounds very high drama. I love an isolated snowy setting. I cannot wait for this. It's gonna be amazing. By Lynn Cahoon, we have a new tourist trap mystery. This is book 17 in the series. It's called Vows of Murder, and it's coming out on February 4th. And this one involves a wedding at a historic Spanish mission. This one involves our main character Jill. She is finally tying the knot and she is really excited. There's this beautiful grove of olive trees nearby, but it sounds like maybe one of the religious people in the area who's at the mission is in a suspected cult. Like there might be some weirdness going on there, and this woman appears with pictures of her daughter who she is convinced is in this cult and shows them to Jill, and then later that man shows up dead. At her wedding, of course. So she makes a public commitment to solve this man's murder, and during all of this, you know, with it uprooting her wedding and all of that, she also is hosting her in-laws. So she's, you know, trying to sleuth, trying to host her in-laws, trying to get married. I mean, what could be less stressful, really? So this one just sounds like a very high drama, fun, cozy. I love the title for this next one. It's called The Crime Brûlée Bake Off. It's perfect. This is a Claire Walker mystery. It's book 1 in the series by Rebecca Connolly, and it's coming out on the 4th, and it's described as the Great British Baking Show meets a cozy mystery with a contemporary romance and a Regency era twist. So this one involves our main character Claire Walker, and she is a teacher who's hoping to retire from her teaching job and go full-time with baking. So she's thrilled when she gets an invitation to be a contestant at this really big, like, kind of British bake-off inspired show. She wants to really resurrect a lot of 1900s recipes and to show off her pastries. It's a beautiful estate. She's just so excited for this opportunity. And then at the same time, we have someone who's a little less excited. His name is Jonathan, and he is the Viscount of this area, and he's kind of pushed into leading the production team for the show. He's just kind of jaded, it sounds like, because he's tired of single women looking at him as like money bags, you know, just looking at him for his money or his status. He's very jaded. He wants to stay behind the scenes, but he gets involved with Claire when a body is found during the show, and they start to have a little bit of heat that simmers between the two of them. So that seems to be our romance, and the two of them start to go through the other bakers' lives and discover the motives that might have been there. And this one just sounds great. This next one is recommended for fans of T.E. Kinsey, which I am, so I'm very excited for this. This is a historical fiction cozy mystery series, and it's called The Case of the Christie Conspiracy. This time she's not the author, she's the suspect, and it's by Kelly Oliver, and it's going to be released on the 16th. So this takes place in 1926, and Agatha Christie is the darling of the literary world. She is well beloved, and she's also a part of this like mystery writers group, and they talk about all things plot related, and one night it sounds like they're kind of initiating a writer or something into their group, and something goes wrong, and the next day Agatha Christie disappears. So Eliza, who is the secretary to the secretary of the group, Dorothy L. Sayers, which I love, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. She starts to get involved in this, and many people assume that Agatha Christie is guilty because she disappears, but Elisa doesn't think this is the case, and she's one of the only ones interested in solving the case despite not being one of the mystery writers, which is kind of interesting, and so she gets involved in it. This just sounds really fun. I had to include it. For those of you that are cat and dog lovers in your cozies, this one is for you. It's called The Wagtail Murder Club, a Paws and Claws mystery, book 10 in the series by Krista Davis. And this is coming out on the 4th. And I have read the first book in this series and I did enjoy it. I need to continue it. But this takes place in Wagtail, Virginia, which is like this very pet-friendly area, and the main character works at like a pet hotel resort. And it's so fun. So our main character is Holly Miller, and she's on her way home to Wagtail, Virginia, when she spots something in the grass not far from her car. It turns out to be an adorable black lab in a cage with a note attached to his collar. It says, "My name is Squishy. I'm a very good boy. Please take good care of me." Holly takes Squishy home to the Sugar Maple Inn, which she owns with her grandmother, who also happens to be the mayor of Wagtail. They decide to foster Squishy at the inn. Days later, Holly is surprised to see her ex-boyfriend Ben checking in with a group of his attorney colleagues, who all seem to think that he and Holly are still an item. Aided by Squishy, Holly's rascally dog and cat, they find one of Ben's fellow attorneys who has died from a non-accidental fall. Is the fiend a resident of Wagtail or a visitor? Holly bands together with her mom, grandmother, and beloved elderly inn butler, Mr. Huckle, to uncover the killer and the truth about Squishy, because nothing brings together a town like murder. Poor Squishy. Oh my goodness. If I found a dog on the side of the road like that, I cannot be responsible for my next actions. We have another Valentine's Day cozy mystery by Kathi Daley. This is called The Inn at Holiday Bay, V in the Valentine, and it's coming out on the 4th. And this is a seaside Valentine's mystery. So this one is all about someone kind of reinventing themselves, starting a new life, and being adopted by a series of adorable cats and dogs. So our main character is Abby, and she buys this big seaside mansion without even seeing it, moves across the country, moves into it, and renovates it to become a hotel. She's adopted by like a Maine Coon cat, a dog, and another cat, as you can see on the cover. And in this one, she is hosting a hotel full of guests for Valentine's Day, and she discovers a clue to an old mystery. Looks so cute. I need to start this series so badly. Another great one for animal lovers. This is a veterinary mystery series. It's called Parrot, Prose, a Coral Shores veterinary mystery by D.L. Mitchell, and it's coming out on the 20th. This one involves kind of a seaside setting, and we have our main character who works as a doctor at this vet hospital. And Emily is surprised when this very eccentric rich person drops off their beloved parrot and then never comes to pick them up. They kind of just disappear off the face of the earth. And then when her and her best friend Anthony go to this person's home to try to find them, they discover a body in like the pond or like water behind their home. Not great. Then the veterinary clinic is flooded with social media followers from this rich person's social media. There's some kind of like scavenger hunt or contest going on as well, and that's attracting a lot of people because there's money at stake, and they start to put together the clues to try to figure out where this person is, what's happened to them, who the body is, etc. We have another fun wedding inspired one. This is coming out on the 11th, and it's called Death and Groom's Cake, a Sugar Creek mystery series, book 6 in the series, written by Nova Walsh, and this takes place in Sugar Creek, Texas. So Abby is helping her best friend Cassie get ready for their big day. There's cake tastings, wedding dress fittings, all that fun stuff. And then there's this historical reenactment that Abby's father is a part of, but someone is actually killed during it with a real bullet, and her father is one of the suspects. So now Abby and her friend Casey need to clear this crime and her father while getting ready for this wedding, and there's just a whole lot of drama. It sounds like there's also a very clean, slow burn romance if that's something that you're interested in as well. This next one is a crafty cozy mystery. This is called Seems Like the Perfect Crime, an Anastasia Pollock crafting mystery, book 14, and this is by Lois Winston, and it's coming out on the 4th. When staffing shortages continue to hamper the Union County Homicide Squad, Detective Sam Spader once again turns to a secret weapon. Reluctant amateur sleuth Anastasia. How can she and her husband, Zach, refuse when the victim is their new neighbor? Revolutionary War reenactor Barry Sumner had the odd habit of spending hours mowing a small patch of packed dirt and weeds until his mower ran out of gas. He'd then guzzle beer on his front porch until he passed out. That's when Anastasia's son Nick discovers his body 3 days after the victim and his family moved into the newly built mini McMansion across the street. So Detective Spader zeroes in on the widow as his prime suspect. However, Anastasia has her doubts. There are other possible suspects, including a woman who had an affair with the victim, his ex-wife, the man overseeing the widow's trust fund, a drug dealer, and the reenactors who were blackmailing the widow and victim. When another reenactor is murdered, Spader suspects they're dealing with a serial killer, but Anastasia wonders if the killer is attempting to misdirect the investigation. And she continues to narrow down the suspects, jeopardizing her own life in the process. I haven't read this, but this sounds really interesting, and I like the reenacting point that we've had for both of these last two books. I think it's just a really interesting setting and kind of interesting hobby as well. I already have this next one on hold at my library for when it comes out. It's by Amanda Flower and it's an Emily Dickinson mystery. It's book 3 in the series and it's called I Died for Beauty, and this will be coming out on the 25th. This one is a very wintry, cozy mystery. Our central character is Emily Dickinson herself, reimagined as a young woman, and her maid Willa, who she's very close with, who you're kind of reading from her perspective. So in this one, it's 1857, and there is a huge winter, like a record-breaking winter. It's freezing cold temperatures, and everyone is making fires to keep themselves warm because of how frigid it is. But this also increases the fear of fire starting. And unfortunately, this does happen in this Irish community nearby, and a young couple is killed in the fire with just leaving like their young child behind, which is really sad. However, Emily suspects that this was actually a murder or like a way to cover up a murder. She doesn't think it was an accident. So her and Willa start to dig into this couple's life to try to solve their murder. I really love this series. This is one historical fiction series that I just like auto put on hold and read. I just enjoy it so much. By Greta McKennan, we have Death at the Shipshape Bookshop. This is coming out on February 11th, and I believe this is the first book in the series. So our main character in this is Junetta, and she's a busy beaver. So she is in Alaska and she runs this bookshop, but she also operates a lending library for the locals, which I love, and a floating bookmobile. Is that a thing? I really want to see one. I want to see one. And one day she's returning from one of her voyages with the floating bookmobile, and she returns to her bookshop to discover it's been trashed, like ransacked. There's a dead body in the back, there's a missing map, there's like everything's just trashed, and she calls the police and they actually arrest her uncle because there's some kind of connection to this like newcomer's tale of family, and like there's some kind of like historical mystery that's tied into maybe the map, I'm assuming, that was stolen. And so her uncle is arrested, and even though he is like cantankerous sourdough as she calls him, she knows he didn't do it, so she wants to clear his name. I love the cover for this. I love the Alaska setting. I would really like to start this series. This one is a flower shop mystery series. It's book 5 in the series by Annie Adams, and this is a thorny end. And our main character is a flower enthusiast, hot fudge sundae lover, and hopeless romantic, and now amateur. And this is coming out on the 17th. So our main character in this is Quinella or Quincy. She has a fiance and a Newfoundland dog. Adorable. And she's overwhelmed right now with work because it's prom season and all these orders for corsages and things are coming in, but her fiance is helping her stay positive. And one of the things that's throwing a wrench in her plans is this lady named Evelyn, who is a high school gal, soon to be prom queen, and she's very wealthy and spoiled, it sounds like, and she is found with a bloody prom sash and she's dead. And Quincy doesn't think that this is an accident. She gets involved solving this person's case. I love the idea of a flower shop. I really want to read a flower shop cozy. By Addison Moore, we have another Valentine's Day cozy. This is called Vanilla Glazed Valentine Vendetta. It is book 52 in the Murder in the Mix series, and it's coming out on the 6th. And our main character is Lottie Lemon, and she actually sees dead people. It's very rare, but she mostly sees furry creatures of the dearly departed variety who have come back from the other side to warn me of their previous owners' impending doom, which sounds very stressful. Valentine's Day is upon us, and Honey Hollow is gearing up for that one, but also 2 weddings on what promises to be the most romantic day of the year. Her sister Meg and Noah's sister Sam have decided to tie the knot to their respective +1s, but when dark secrets begin to surface, they're up to their eyeballs in wedding cake and knee-deep in bodies. A double wedding is planned, but before the vows can be exchanged, a double homicide shakes the town to its core. This one looks really interesting. I can't believe there's 52 books on the series. That just blows me away, but the covers for this are always so fun. This next one made it on my 15 most anticipated releases for the year, and this one is called And Then There Were Scones. The Parchment Paper Mysteries. It's book 1 in the series by Matilda Swift, and it's coming out on the 12th. So our main character in this is Jessica, and she is a baker. She's a bit of a black sheep in her family because her family has this very prestigious like literary reputation, and she turned away from that to pursue baking, and she's on this baking show she's very excited for. She returns to her hometown for it, and she can deal with the gossip mill and the singing cheesemongers and all of these other characters in town. until her aunt arrives, and then she's really in trouble. And then one of her fellow bakers, like the competitors, ends up murdered, and she is one of the suspects in the crime. And Jessica is determined to transform this into a recipe for success despite the disaster that's happened, and to prove her family that she wasn't wrong in pursuing her passions. This one just sounds amazing, and I love a good baking cozy, so it was an easy sell for me. By Carleen O'Connor, we have an Irish cozy mystery. It's called Murder in an Irish Garden, an Irish Village Mystery, book 11, and this is coming out on the 25th. So our main character is studying to become a detective in this one, but her brother is opening up this like kind of Irish restaurant in town, and they're trying to get more like marketing and publicity, so they enter this gardening like contest. So they hire a very mercurial landscaper who's known for great work, but it doesn't seem like they're the easiest to work with. But the brother's willing to put up with it for the publicity, and everything turns out spectacular until the garden leads to a disturbing and brutal discovery. Then the town is filled with all these conspiracies about who did it, who did the murder, and was it like a fellow gardener who's trying to win the competition and wanted to, you know, destroy this person's chances of winning? Was it someone who's not happy about the opening of the restaurant, and etc. And last but not least, we have a matcha murder, a tea room murder mystery. It's a tea and tarot cozy mystery, book 9 in the series by Kirsten West, and this is coming out on the 28th. So they have a tea and tarot reading like business, and they're in Northern California. A storm is raging. Her boyfriend has gone AWOL, and the tarot card reader, who's very eccentric, is the prime suspect in this business coach's murder. So Abigail and Hyperion, who is her tarot card reading partner, have to sift through clues and clear their name before anything happens to them. And I love a good detecting duo. This one sounds very quirky and fun, so I wanted to include this. And that is everything, guys. Let me know down below, what are your top 3 new releases coming out in February, whether they're ones that I mentioned or ones that you know about otherwise. I would love to hear. I will leave mine down below in the comments as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I do post new video content every single week on my channel. If you enjoy cozy mysteries and or thrillers, I talk about all of those, anything with a mystery at the heart of it, on my channel, as well as doing cozy reading vlogs. I hope you'll hit subscribe and stick around, and thanks for joining me today. Bye guys!